Hello, this is Super Game Freak 100 here, and I am filming this with my webcam. That's kind of obvious. Today I'm going to talk about the Zelda timeline, the official Zelda timeline that has been released in this book for the 25th anniversary in Japan called Hyrule Historia. And supposedly it contains the official Zelda timeline, and I've got it right here on my computer, so forgive me, I'm going to be looking in and out on the computer screen and the webcam, so I can look at it. I'm just going to give pretty much a brief description about it and my thoughts on it. Let's see here. Now, it starts out with the era of the world's creation, heaven and earth created. That's pretty self-explanatory. The era of the goddess Hylia and the Sky era. This is where Skyward Sword comes in. The goddess Hylia, reincarnated ancient battle, returns to Earth. Yeah, most people have pretty much figured out by now Skyward Sword is the very beginning. Um, yeah. A few years later, the era of chaos, Sacred Realm is sealed. That means Hyrule and the world we know as the Sacred Realm are no longer one and one. They are one and two. The era of prosperity, Hyrule Kingdom established. Basically, that explains itself. The Force era, the Minish Cap. This is sort of where it sets the standard for all of the Zelda games to come. Basically, we have a hero who's trying to rescue the princess, and a sword that is very much like the Force sword is created, basically. Um, so, appropriately, we have four swords immediately after that. Oh, I forgot, on Minish Cap, the evil god Bati is born. Yes, and he will come in a few times later. He comes in the very next installment, and in a few installments down. So Four Swords, Bati is resurrected. Then the era of the Hero of Time, Child Era / Adult Era. Now, Ocarina of Time is sort of like the hinge for the timeline completely. This is where things get weird. The Dark World is formed in the Sacred Realm. Ganondorf turns into the Demon King Ganon. And if you've played Ocarina of Time, you understand what that means. And from here, it splits into two ways. Um, there is the traditional way where it splits into the child and the adult era after that. And then it goes to this new little split over here, where we assuming, it's a dangerous word, makes an ass out of you and me, that the hero is defeated, that Link is not successful in his quest. But if you've played Ocarina of Time and you've beaten it, then you have been successful. So this is assuming. Assuming. Hyrule's decline in the last hero, the Sealing War. A Link to the Past. Ganon is revived. Now, yeah, that's pretty self-explanatory again. Then after that, this is what's kind of weird. Oracle of Seasons and Ages. And I why they're inserting it makes sense, but they really don't know why they're inserting seasons and ages before Link's Awakening. The traditional timeline has Link's Awakening immediately after A Link to the Past, pretty much because it kind of was. Um, but here, basically, in other timelines, there hasn't really been a. Sorry, I just got a message from Steam. Um, Oracle of Seasons and Ages in other timelines has not really had a home, so it makes sense to put it here. And then Link's Awakening after that. The Gold Era, the Triforce using Monarchy, this is basically where the land of Hyrule pretty much falls, and there's nothing left except a few scattered caves where people live in, a few shops, and a bunch of monsters that roam the surface world, and somewhat beneath it too. The Tragedy of Princess Zelda the First. Now, this is where the original Legend of Zelda fits into the timeline. The Era of Decline. Ganon is revived. He takes over the world. so-and-so and so-and-so. Then Link gathers the 8 Triforce pieces, um, forms the Triforce of Courage, defeats Ganon, saves Zelda, happy ending. Well, that's what we would think. Then Adventure of Link comes along, Ganon's revival prevented, and he wakes up Zelda. It's a good thing. Now, back to this other split we had here. The hero is successful, which splits off into another 2, so technically we have 3 splits here total. Um, Child era. This is basically, this is the way the timeline was originally thought to be, with Majora's Mask immediately preceding Ocarina of Time. Child era, Sacred Realm protected, Dark World, and the hero's descendants. Majora's Mask, Prince of Thieves Ganondorf is executed. Link goes off and has fun in an alternate world for 3 days. A few years later, Twilight Princess, Shadow Invasion, the Twilight era. Yeah, if you play Twilight Princess, you understand. And then after that, and I thought this was a relatively good place to put Four Swords Adventures. Immediately after Twilight Princess, it makes sense. Um, because other timelines have placed Four Swords Adventures immediately after Four Swords, and they haven't necessarily been one after the other. Um, the Shadow Era, Ganondorf reincarnated, Vati resurrected once again. And this is where they defeat Vati for the third and final time. And Ganondorf pretty much makes a cameo, other than being the main villain. Basically, he appears for one battle, and that's it, according to the Adult Era, Ganondorf sealed. This is what happened. Yeah, Ocarina of Time. The theory is with Ocarina of Time that when Link defeated Ganon, not Ganondorf, they're 2 different entities that seem to share the same body. Um, Zelda used the Ocarina of Time to send Link back to his childhood, so it could prevent the future from ever happening. But when this happened, it basically split, it pretty much caused a distortion in space and time and split it into 2 similar but different worlds that shared the same geography, but where events took place differently. So that comes the child era, which becomes child Hyrule and adult Hyrule. And this is adult Hyrule where things take a much different turn of events. Ganondorf sealed, here the hero of wind and new world. Ganondorf is revived, Hyrule is sealed and flooded, yes, and the residents flee to the mountaintops as the goddess told them to, and the world is flooded. It becomes a huge sea, and everyone forgets that there is a kingdom underneath it. I don't really know how you forget that, but they set up islands and towns, or they set up towns on the islands. Excuse me. The era without a hero. Yeah, for a while there is no hero. Everything is peaceful for a while, and Ganondorf's powers remain sealed. However, Ganondorf makes his own little fortress in the northwestern corner of the sea, and he starts his own operation to reclaim his powers. Basically causes terror on the sea for a while. The Wind Waker, Ganondorf is revived. Yes, and then defeated again, sealed underneath the sea once again, this time for good. Now, and after that, Link and Tetra set off on an adventure to sail the seas, to go beyond the little world they know, to see the rest of it, the rest of the area that was covered in the sea. This brings us to Phantom Hourglass, where apparently technology suddenly gets better. The era of the Great Voyage. Tetra basically gets kidnapped, turned to stone, Link goes to rescue her. Yay. New continent discovered. They after Phantom Hourglass, for a while they sail around the seas, and eventually they discover a new continent and found establish a kingdom on it, which becomes known in the fan world as New Hyrule. It doesn't really, it's just known as Hyrule in the game, but since there was a previous Hyrule and now this is a Hyrule being founded again, fans come to know it as New Hyrule. The era of Hyrule's rebirth. Spirit Tracks. The evil King Malladus survived. The only thing I don't understand about this, though, the one flaw with the timeline that I really see is the evil King Malleus has survived. When was Malleus created again? I don't know when he was born, I don't know when he was sealed, and I don't know when he died. Um, Spirit Tracks is sort of that just one question without an answer. Sort of like how other Zelda games go. Anyway, that's pretty much the timeline. I think it makes sense. I agree with it mostly. Unless there's been a translation error in in a few weeks. Some news comes up again that it was mistranslated and we have to redo the whole thing over again. That would be terrible. But it makes sense. Skyward Sword first, Minish Cap next, Four Swords. Yeah, that's well placed. Ocarina of Time, and I think this idea of three splits. We knew there were two, but three. It's kind of a cop out, saying that the hero was defeated, but it makes sense. It makes sense. It's like Link to the Past and the Oracle games and Link's Awakening and the original two Zelda games don't really go fit in the child timeline or in the adult era, unless you could have a lot of stupid reasoning and say it goes on the child timeline, which a lot of people have said so far. Um, but the way this is placed, it makes a lot of sense. Um, yeah, so that's pretty much the official Zelda timeline, and those are my thoughts on it. This is Super Game Freak 100, signing off.